Imagine the movie Die Hard, but when the terrorists arrive at Nakatomi Plaza, instead of finding a bunch of bankers, they find a sea monster.
At least it's not an alien.
You guys again?
Just observing. Pretend we're not here.
Well, I'm doing a whole series of movies that take place on ships. I'm calling it Ship Happens. One part Poseidon Adventure, one part Predator, a sprinkling of hentai, you get Deep Rising. No, I didn't put Jaws in by mistake. Deep Rising is directed by Stephen "The Mummy" Sommers. We open to a high-tech boat speeding through a dark and stormy night. We meet the crew, Treat Williams as the captain, John Finnegan, Kevin J. O'Connor as engineer and comic relief, Joey Pantucci, and Una Damon as crewwoman, Leela. Their passengers, a group of men headed to the middle of the ocean for an unknown reason. We don't know anything about them at this point except that they're assholes. And they're led by the biggest asshole, Hanover, played by Wes Studi.
Any questions, Mr. Finnegan? Nope.
They may as well have had t-shirts that read, "We're bad guys." Cut to Argonautica, which is like the Love Boat on steroids. Think of a carnival cruise without as much diarrhea.
Most luxurious, most expensive pleasure ship ever built.
Anthony Heald is head party animal and owner of the ship, Simon. I guess he got tired of tormenting Hannibal Lecter. Famke Janssen plays Trillian, a mysterious woman in red.
What can I say? I like Famke Janssen.
Turns out Trillian is a thief whose crime spree is interrupted by competence. But instead of locking her in a brig, she's locked in a pantry with lots and lots of expensive food. But it looks like somebody's hacking the ship. Let me get this straight. The entire ship's systems are built on PlayStation CDs. The ship is knocked out of commission and grinds to a halt. Oh well, at least the captain didn't run aground waving to a friend.
Savage.
I have something here, sir.
No one wants to see your wiener, Bob. Something attacks the ship, and it ain't no iceberg. Man the lifeboats and big wooden doors. Oh good, she's safe. Nope, she's fucked. Tentacles, Asian woman, I think I know where this is going. It's gotta be like pulling a bowling ball through a garden hose. Meanwhile, Joey discovers their passengers are carrying torpedoes. Surprise, they're up to no good. Turns out these guys are badass hijackers with some sweet, although mythological weaponry.
Say hello to the Chinese M1L1 triple pulse assault rifle. Rotating barrel, 1,000 round capacity, auto cooling watertight.
Finnegan's boat is damaged just as they reach Argonautica. Can't make it too easy to get away, can we? They get on board, ready to go all die hard on everyone, but everyone's gone. But that's no reason not to play with their new toys. Men, am I right, ladies?
I got a really bad feeling about this.
He was a bit early for his Star Wars audition. But something else is in here too.
Here there be monsters.
Hey, is that Colin Farrell? Where all the hoes at?
Really?
Our first victim. He was so young and polite. I'm gonna miss him. Trillian breaks out of the pantry. Does she make a beeline for a lifeboat? Nope. Straight back to the vault where the rest of the hijackers find her. They open the vault and find a couple of surviving passengers, including Simon and Jason Voorhees. And he's out of here.
Stop! Jesus Christ, son of a bitch!
Fucking hell. Sorry, I thought we were randomly cussing.
Layla and another hijacker left on Finn's boat are taken. Do we care? No. Moving on. The creature at this point is mostly hidden. It's in shadow or underwater, which is good. Let your imagination run wild for once. The gang gets trapped in an elevator and gets taken to the basement. I never knew ships had basements. Geez, how tall is this ship? This makes me want ribs. I don't have a joke, I just want ribs. And the creature makes an appearance.
Now what?
No wonder the ship was so easily crippled. It's made out of aluminum foil. Well, it turns out this ship was already losing money on its maiden voyage, so Simon was the saboteur.
That the cost of keeping it operating is a hell of a lot more than we're ever going to take in.
You mean we're all gonna die because you screwed up on the map?
And it's time for our star to make an appearance. Now I want calamari. Hey, one of their own escapes. Oh, most of them.
I think I'm gonna barf.
Considering the somewhat light tone of the movie up to this point, this was pretty dark and gruesome. In fact, a lot of the deaths are pretty brutal. Typical in monster movies like this, the group starts in one place, and they have to travel a gauntlet to the exit. As they travel this gauntlet, they start losing people. Of course, it's the unlikable hijackers that go first. It's just not a cruise without a buffet. And now the real fight begins. Wondering what all those tentacles were attached to?
Now there's something you don't see every day.
You better leave. You don't have a tank or a healer. The creature toys with Finnegan, rather than immediately chow him down like it did everyone else. Did Squidward just punch him? It's got a better hook than Rousey. It's just fun and games until...
What are you looking at?
Okay, the ship is sinking, the hallways are like half full of water, so they hop on a jet ski, and the creature actually chases them through the hallways. Our heroes are still running wild on the ship, looking for a way out. This is a roomy ship. Simon gets to the boat. Poorly. Oh, snap! Poor Simon, this is a one-way trip. Unlike most cruise ships, this one's made out of balsa wood and nitroglycerin. Our heroes flee the burning blue screen in time as the ship disintegrates. And they make it to a desert island. Looks like they're stuck together. You can do worse, right?
Treat Williams. Rawr.
Joey arrives like a nautical cockblock. Look at her face here. That's the face of unreleased sexual tension. And that's the end. Now it looks like the end.
Now what?
That was Deep Rising. Treat Williams can be bland at times, but other times he's pretty badass. Famke Janssen plays her part well, but something about her character feels somewhat out of place or tacked on. Maybe it's because she was cast last minute as a replacement for Claire Forlani, who walked out after 3 days of filming. I knew Simon was going to be a bad guy as soon as I saw who was playing him. Face it, Hollywood doesn't hire this guy to be a hero. And the hijackers are unlikable assholes from the start.
Like a fine wine, I'm aging gracefully, thank you. You look more like a keg of beer to me.
They just needed the words "kill me" taped to their backs. One guy made me feel slightly bad, and that's because his death was so horrendous.
Can you just get asthma?
But actually, Joey is the most likable character here.
Joey for the win.
Sure, he can be sometimes annoying, but at least he brings out an emotional reaction. He's got some of the best lines, and I actually felt for him when he discovered his girlfriend died. He was the only one I was really happy to see survive. Generally, the creature effects were pretty good, but some of the blue screen work was pretty obvious. But I actually liked the creature design, even though it looks like something more like an alien monster than something that comes from this planet.
It's not an alien, okay? Your screwed up planet came up with that thing.
The concept is pretty unique. It ingests food through its tentacles, yet still has a big mouth that it probably saves for B-list celebrities. The acting is believable, cheesy enough to fit with the B-movie tone. And the story is a parade of the usual tropes. But the ending is satisfying. The creature's killed, the rich asshole explodes, and the hijackers are eaten one by one. Even this stinger, which these days would equal sequel bait. But here, I think it was put in strictly as a punchline. Story's over, they all die. The end. Not everything has to be a franchise. Seriously. Why would tentacles roar? Why would any sea creature roar? It's fast-moving, with a sense of urgency, tension, and claustrophobia. You see a lot of blood and gore after the fact, but the deaths themselves are pretty sanitary, either happening just off camera or behind a wall of CGI. One exception is this poor guy.
He had to split.
You got that from Schwarzenegger.
Now what?
Deep Rising gets a gurgling 3.5 out of 5. It's entertaining, funny, yet still manages to be disturbingly violent. Watch it and give yourself a treat. See what I did there?
I don't get it.
So what sea creatures freak you out? Leave a comment below. This is TheNewBee, and as always, thanks for watching. And if you'll excuse me, I still want calamari.
Now what?